All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our fourth quarter kickoff for our webinar series. Today we are joined by Aetna. We've got Sean McLeod, Mark Quinn, and Aaron Hustline on the line with us from Aetna. Just some housekeeping first. We've switched up this year. In the past, we've used GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, and this year we're using Microsoft Teams. So for your housekeeping, if you have any questions, please put that in the Q&A box, and we'll answer those at the end of the presentation. You can always follow us on social media and subscribe to our weekly Monday Minute newsletter for the latest Cornerstone, carrier, and industry updates, and my contact information is on the page. Now I'm going to turn it over to Aetna.
Alrighty, thank you very much for having us. I'll share my screen and hopefully you all can see it. As Bobby said, my name is Mark O'Quinn. I'm the Cincinnati and Kentucky representative for small group. With me on the call is Sean McLeod and Aaron Hustline. Aaron and Sean, if you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick.
Hi, Aaron Hustline. I handle Northwest Ohio, Dayton area, and Southeast Ohio. So nice to see you all.
Hey, and I'm Sean McLeod. I'm Central Ohio, so Franklin County and all the surrounding counties.
So if you didn't know already, we follow the broker. So wherever your group is located, you can send the information to us. And if you send it to the wrong representative, don't worry, we'll get it to the right person and get you your proposals. Real quick, we'll just go over some new definitions for small group segments, as well as IMQ thresholds and new systems, and then some new plan designs, as well as value adds. As Bobby said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we can answer them at the end of the call. These slides shouldn't take too long, so we should have plenty of time for questions at the end. And Sean, Aaron, if there's anything I miss on any of our slides, feel free to jump in and to include more. And we'll get going. So first off, we'll go over some quoting and installation. And one of the most important things, obviously, is our commission. So we did increase our standard commission from $30 PEPM to $40 PEPM. So that's what you'll see included on all of our proposals. If a different amount is requested, we can adhere to that, especially through our new quoting system. If there is not a different amount requested, 40 PEPM is what you'll see on the proposal. One of the new things we are doing at Aetna is we are changing the way we define small group. So this is called Project Small Group XL. Essentially, we are going off of number enrolled instead of number eligible. So small group at Aetna is now 2 to 100 enrolled, not 2 to 100 eligible. That status is based off the headquarter of the group location, and I'll go over the map in a second as to which states are doing small group XL. This does go up to 300 eligible, so that's one caveat. If that a group has over 300 eligible and less than 100 enrolled, that'll get kicked to middle market. If you're not sure which department to send it to, feel free, again, just send it to us. We'll get it to the right people. And again, that has already been started. So it should help us get a little more competitive on some of those bigger groups. So please send us all your 2 to 100 enrolled, and we will get you guys a competitive proposal. What you'll see here is our where the states apply for small group XL. The purple states is where you will actually see dual quoting for fully insured and level funded. Typically, level funded is our main product, and that's available in all the colored states. So all the blue states, you'll just see level funded on your proposal, and the purple states, you'll see level funded and fully insured. As noted, Kentucky is one of those states where it's just level funded, but Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, Illinois, so on and so forth, all include level funded and fully insured on your proposals. And that is just for 51 to 100, I should say. The following slide goes over some quoting changes where our IMQ, our application requirement, is now only there for 2 to 4 enrolled. If a group has 5 or more enrolled, there is no applications needed. So for fully insured, level funded, virgin groups, ACA, MIWA, any of them out there, if they have 5 enrolled or more, we do not need applications. That is a big change for us, where previously, I think in Ohio, it was 25 enrolled to skip applications. So this makes it a lot easier to quote with Aetna. And if you are quoting on any small groups or virgin groups out there, let them know if you've got 5 on the plan, you do not need applications. You can get a quote from Aetna. With that, we only require a 20% participation, so total eligible. So we do not count valid waivers. That 20% is down from 30% in previous years. So again, making it a little bit easier to quote with us. If they have 20% enrolled, they can get a quote from Aetna. One thing I will include about the application requirement is that in Ohio, we go down to 2 enrolled, but in Kentucky, we go down to 5 enrolled. So an easy thing to remember is if you're calling on any Kentucky groups, you do not need applications in general. As long as you have 5 enrolled, you can get a quote. You do not need applications. Also, a little thing about myself, I'm a new dad. I have an 8-week-old son, so if you hear him crying upstairs, I apologize. I just heard him, so I doubt you guys will hear him, but just in case. We are debuting a new quoting system called Aetna Sales Gateway, or ASG for short. This launched in July of this year, where brokers and GA partners can run their own firm underwritten quotes. It's a lot easier to use than our illustrative quote process, if you remember using that. And these are actually underwritten rates. So anything with 2 to 100 enrolled can be sent through the system. I want to emphasize that it is algorithm based, but it is not artificial intelligence. We will not use artificial intelligence to quote groups. And 51 to 100 proposals are all touched on by physical underwriters. So your 2 to 50 enrolled, you should see them within a day or two. And then the 51 to 100 enrolled, you'll see within 2 to 3 days. And a lot of times you'll actually see a lot quicker than that, but just to give some caveat, at high volume times, it may take up to 1 or 2 days, which is a very improved turnaround time from what we saw the past couple years. Anyone who's quoted with us may have waited 1 to 2 to even 3 weeks sometimes at peak volume. So this is a huge improvement. There is a census template that's required to use the tool for right now. Eventually, we will be able to move to requiring any type of census that, as long as they have the required fields, we can translate it into our census template. But for right now, there is a census template that's required. And we've heard a lot of good feedback. I know some people have some access issues with quoting, and we do have a support team that's able to handle that. So we can't necessarily touch on any access issues on this call, but we do have a support team that's working on that. So if you have any feedback on the program, we'd love to hear it in the questions at the end of the call as well. I'm used to asking for questions at the end of each slide, so this is weird for me just translate or just go into each slide at the end of each one, but obviously we're saving those. With ASG, we do have a new billing and enrollment platform known as eBusiness. This is replacing our old platform that was Springboard. eBusiness essentially lets us do medical, dental, and vision all in one bill, as well as multiple waiting periods and classes for different locations. This was launched 5/1 of this year. The groups that are currently on Springboard, our old platform, will eventually be transitioned to eBusiness. That date has not been determined yet. It'll happen sometime in 2026, we think, but when it does happen, it'll be on a renewal basis. We won't just flip the switch on you. I know other carriers have tried to do that in the past, and there's lots of issues there. So new groups will be on eBusiness. Old groups will eventually be transitioned over, and we will make sure we send out information on that when that time comes. This next slide, we'll go over just some additional plans that actually went effective 9/1 of this year. So we do portfolio updates going into the fourth quarter rather than at the beginning of the year. These slides are available to, I sent them already to Bobby so he can send them out. But the main thing I want to point at is our new HSA plans. We do have a 3,500 100% and a 3,750 100% HSA plan, as well as two new non-HSA plans, a 3,000 and a 4,000. This is a pretty big hole in our portfolio before that now fills and can be a little more comparable to what you're seeing with other carriers. The plans in the blue off to the right, if you see 0LXR on our proposals, that stands for $0 copay for lab and x-ray. Essentially, there will be PPO plans, standard PPO plans that have the co-insurance and deductible, what you're seeing here. And then there will be an identical plan with a $0 copay lab and x-ray priced just slightly above that. We do see a lot of success with these plans. So they work exactly the same as all PPOs. However, if you go to an in-network lab and x-ray, it's a $0 copay. Like I said, we see a lot of success, so we added more, and hopefully we'll see even more success this upcoming year. And then finally, before I pass it off, this slide pertains to groups in Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee, as well as all the states listed off to the right. This does not apply to Ohio yet. Hopefully we'll sell a lot of engineering groups and we'll eventually get this applied to Ohio. How it works is engineering groups that are eligible to join the American Council of Engineering Companies, the ACEC, will be issued a proposal with a letter at the top that says if you join the ACEC, you can receive a 5% discount on any of our AFA plans, our level funded plans. This is kind of similar to what UHC offers with their ACEC promotion. However, I know UHC has a very small select group of plans. This gives you access to our entire portfolio and a 5% discount. Aaron will go over our admin credits on the next slide. So that's also important to remember that there's a 5% discount at hand, as well as our admin credits. As far as requirements go, it's different from state to state. You do need a registered engineer at your company, and there is a per member fee. I don't know exactly what the fee is because I know it's different from state to state, but I do know it's a lot less than a 5% discount on your medical insurance. So it's definitely worth taking a look at. We have a contact at the ACEC that we'd happy to join on a call if you have any groups. But if you are calling on any engineering companies in Kentucky, Michigan, Tennessee, or any of the states off to the right, this could be a good way to get your foot in the door and say, hey, have you heard about Aetna's program? You can get a 5% discount just by joining the ACEC. And with that, I'll pass it off to Aaron to go over some admin credits as well as other value adds.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for having us again. I'm going to touch on the admin credits. I think you're probably all pretty familiar with it, but we did do a major enhancement to the medical and dental credit, as you can see on the screen. Basically, if a group chooses the medical, whether it's fully insured or AFA, they will receive a $400 per subscriber credit on their second month's bill. But if they also choose the dental, in addition to the medical, they'll receive an additional $300 per medical subscriber. So it doesn't matter how many enroll in the dental, however many is enrolled in the medical, that is the credit they will receive. So if they choose to purchase medical and dental, is a $700 per medical subscriber admin credit. It's a one-time credit, and it's going to appear on the second month's invoice. And it's kind of like a get it while it's hot kind of program, because we know that this has been approved through March 1st of 2026, which is great considering fourth quarter falls into that category. So we're good to go on this program until that 3/1 date. So, it's an awesome program, and we're excited to be able to extend it. Okay, we'll move forward and talk a little bit about the value adds of being an Aetna member. One of these is our program that is already automatically built into all of our groups. All of our customers have access to this. Excuse me, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold. It's called Aetna Smart Compare, and this is actually run by AI. It's been about 5 years in the making before we decided to roll this out. And as I mentioned before, all Aetna customers have access to it. This is an enhancement to the provider search tool, the online provider search tool, and it's been in effect since January. Members don't even really know they have it until they go to use it. And basically what it is it's a customized provider search for members. So depending on your criteria that you've built into your member secure portal, obviously claim information is in there, but any other preferences that a member has added will be included in these calculations. And basically a member will go in, search for a provider, and of course you get, 25 provider options come back to you. But the top few will be designated with a special badge that indicates that this is both a cost-effective and highly efficient provider, highly effective provider, and may suit your particular criteria. My criteria is probably different from Mark's and different from Sean's, but if we're all searching in the same area, my criteria might come back as, my providers will come back as different from theirs because it's customized to the individual. So we feel like this is an awesome tool to help members who are searching for maybe a first-time provider that they have, don't have any experience with. Of course, they can use any provider that's recommended by their own doctors or by family members. But these providers have been, customizedly, sent back to them as a good match for what we feel like they would need for their care. So we feel like this is just an extra little added benefit to help people, choose providers and be happy with that selection. Okay, another great program that we've had we've had this for about a year. This is our over-the-counter health solutions program. This is the CVS benefit that we've talked about in the past. We're making a little bit of a change to it. Starting on with 9/1 effective dates for new business, and then of course that renewal for renewing business. But basically how it works is currently it's a $25 per member per quarter benefit at CVS, where members can go to the store, they can order by phone or online specific products. They're all HSA eligible type products. They're CVS branded products such as, cold medicine or contact solutions or antacids or Band-Aids. It runs the gamut of pretty much any kind of a product that you would need to purchase at your pharmacy. And with cold and flu season coming and allergy season coming, of course, those medications are also included. But basically how it works is it's currently a $25 per member per quarter benefit. So every family member that's covered under the health plan gets that $25 benefit. What we have found over the course of the last year when we've had this program in place is that it's basically been about 85 to 90% of the utilization was coming from the employee. We weren't seeing a lot of any kind of utilization from family members. And so we've decided that this year we're going to change the program to make it $35 per employee per quarter. So it will convert from a per member benefit to a per employee benefit starting with 9/1. We don't foresee this being a big issue. Like I said before, like 85 to 90% of the utilization was with the employee anyway. And now the employee is going to get an extra $10 per quarter in benefits. So we feel like it's a positive change. And we've heard some really good feedback about it. I mean, who doesn't like free money? And members have been utilizing it. And like I said before, they can utilize it through the store, they can utilize it online, or they can make a phone call and have the items shipped to their homes. So basically, we're continuing the program with a little bit of an enhancement. Okay, this is what I tell every group that I talk to. This is the most important slide you're going to see in this presentation. I personally feel that way. I feel like Aetna is a leader in this particular area. And I feel like if you don't listen to anything else, you don't remember anything else, if you're doing employee meetings and they don't hear anything else, they need to pay attention to this particular slide, because we feel like diabetes is probably one of the most important programs that we can offer. A diabetes care program is something the most important program we can offer, because a diabetic really needs to stay adherent to their medications and stay on their program and stay healthy, because it can devastate someone's health if they let diabetes get out of control. So here's what Aetna is doing to help people stay compliant with their diabetes management program. The first one is the diabetic meter program, and this is a program that we've offered for a very long time, and I feel like it doesn't get a lot of attention. But basically, members with diabetes can order a blood glucose meter from Aetna for zero copay. We will send them a meter for free so that they can continue to monitor their blood sugar and help them manage their condition a little bit more effectively. So that's the first piece. The second piece, I think, is something that we do that I don't think anyone else is doing in the industry, and that is to offer a zero cost share benefit for preferred diabetic drugs and supplies. It's zero cost share, zero deductible, covered in full. If you look on item number 2 on this particular block, it says look under the categories anti-diabetics, insulin, and diabetic supplies. If your drug falls into one of those categories on our formulary and it's a preferred generic or a preferred brand, it is covered in full on all plans, which includes our standard plans, our HSAs, and our integrated plans, covered in full. So please make sure this gets communicated when you send out proposals, because I think this is a game changer. And it's something that every group that I've ever worked with has at least one diabetic, and they need to help those people stay compliant with their program. And finally, you'll see Aetna Healthier Way. Members can go into their Member Secure website and do a health assessment and get on a diabetes specific journey, whether they're managing a pre-diabetic condition or they actually do have diabetes, and they can help give them pointers and direction on managing their care. So it's a 3-pronged program, and this is something that really needs to be promoted.
Just before we go to the next slide, I like jumping in here. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been type 1 since I was 14 years old. This is a huge program that saves me, excuse me, and the member lots of money. So things like Novolog, Omnipods, the CGM monitors that you see on the back of people's arms, all those are covered in full with a $0 copay and a waived deductible. Cannot emphasize enough how much money that saves the member. So even if we're a little more expensive on the front end from month to month, we do a lot of things on the pharmacy end that saves the member money like this.
It's an awesome program. And like I said, I wish we had a flyer on it. I've been begging for a flyer because I feel like that's something that a group would, like to have to post on their website or hand out to their membership. So we always just, on the down low, I send this slide out and say, go ahead and use this to communicate the benefit, since we don't have a slide. So we'll make sure you get a copy of this presentation so that you all can sneakily do that. And with that, I'll hand off to Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Hey, I'll jump in on the diabetic thing too. So the only other carrier in the market that has a diabetic program like that is going to be MMO, and they require members to call into a nurse line every month. They have a more strict adherence to that program. When somebody's on our diabetic program, they just get the benefit. Our formulary list for the diabetic medications is also bigger than what they offer. So this really is the premier diabetic management program in the market. All right, I'm going to bring this thing home. Last few slides here, going to make it short and sweet. We do have a program that allows members to earn up to $100 a year in gift cards. It's called Engage. So you would access Engage through either the Aetna Health app or the member website. All you're doing to get that money is agreeing to healthy actions. Or agreeing to healthy actions, but also taking healthy actions. So like if you go to your PCP every year, you get your flu shots and your immunizations, you'll actually receive money that you can convert into gift cards on this app. So really cool program. This was a newer value add that we launched last year. Very straightforward and simple. There's no tax implications of this. So when you get that money via gift cards, you're able to just go use it. Again, up to $100 a year. And this is also for dependents over age 18. So if you have dependents over age 18 on your plan, you and your spouse can both take advantage of this. Just a really nice way to earn free money. And I know there's some other carriers out there that have kind of similar-ish programs. So I think it's nice that we've, we just have something here to be able to earn money pretty easily. Here's just some dental and vision tips and updates. So really encourage you to look at the dental and vision whenever you quote medical. We always include it on the proposal. So if you submit a medical proposal, when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're always going to see a dental proposal and you're always going to see a vision proposal, whether you request it or not. Dental has a 2 minimum enrolled participation requirement with a 20% participation. I'm sorry, non-voluntary is minimum 2 enrolled. Voluntary is 20% participation with a minimum of 2 enrolled. Our dental plans are excellent. So for dental network, we actually have our own dental network that's second in the state behind Delta. So you're never going to have a network issue when you're looking at our dental plans. Vision, we actually use iMed, and then we layer our own network on top of that for some of the smaller, mom and pop type vision places. Vision, you just need 1 enrolled to write the vision plan. One other thing I'll add about the dental and vision is that on our new platform that replaced Springboard called eBusiness, all of the bills are lumped together. So if you had installed a case in the past with Springboard, your dental, your medical, vision bills would have been separate. On the new eBusiness platform, everything's together. So it just makes the administration a lot easier. You can quote standalone dental and vision. So all you'll do is request that from the email address that's on the slide, dentalstandalone@aetna.com. So you can get a standalone dental proposal if you're interested in that. Starting 1/1, we're launching a new OTC program for dental exclusively. So you have that OTC benefit tied to the medical that gives you $35 per quarter. We also have an OTC program tied to the dental starting 1/1 that'll give you a $50 allowance for any oral hygiene products. So you can go get your electric toothbrush, get 50% off. They're typically like $100. Really cool program. Again, just more free money. Everybody likes free money, and especially when you're doing open enrollment meetings, it always sounds good when there's very low barriers to entry to get some of this free money. So the OTC program, you just get it. It's preloaded on your member ID. This program is going to be the same thing. So just very, very easy to access programs where we're, showing some benefit to the members. And you also have that nice admin credit tied to the dental as well. So if you had a group with 10 enrolled, you'd be getting right up front, you'd get $4,000 just for adding medical. If you add dental, that'll be $7,000. So you could basically equate the dental admin credit in that situation to $3,000. Now, if you took that $3,000 and applied that to the group's dental premium, you're probably getting 4 or 5 months of free dental. So, even if our dental is priced a little bit higher than whatever you're looking at, with this solution, you're able to put everything in one spot and you're able to give the group a really big discount on their dental for the year. So I think it's just a really nice benefit to have. Always something to consider. Here's some other reminders and updates. I got a couple slides left. So extended contracts are available. And what we found recently is that we can do any contract length from 12 to 18 months. So if you need a 12, a 13, a 14-month contract, that's doable. The longest contract we can do is an 18-month contract. And when you're doing those extended contracts, you're getting a pretty big discount on trend. An extra 3 months for the 15-month rate is only 1%. About 1.5%. 18 months is 3%. So you're getting a huge discount on medical trend. The drawback is going to be that you're switching the group's renewal date. So if you get a really good rate and you want to lock that in further, or maybe you want to move the group to a different renewal date anyway, this is a really good way to do that. 18 months is the longest contract we can do right now. And I will say that if you request an extended contract, right now we're not able to accommodate the ancillary lines on those extended contracts. Hopefully we will sometime next year. AFA reporting improvements. So obviously the reporting is one of the biggest benefits to being on a level funded plan, especially AFA, because our reporting, I've seen some of the other reports out there for some of the other level funded stuff, and our reporting is very robust, in comparison, in my opinion. So one of the updates we made recently was to our monthly reporting. So just a reminder, there's 2 different types of reporting out there. You have your monthly claims reports, which you in the group would have access to every month. The improvement that we made there was we took the total paid claims column and we broke it out into RX spend and medical spend. So if you were looking at that group month over month, and let's just say you see a huge medical claim ding, but there's no RX tied to it, you could probably assume that it's probably not going to be an ongoing situation. However, if you see a big RX claim tied to that medical issue that you see pop up on that monthly claims report now, there's a higher chance that that's probably going to be something that's ongoing. So it's just a way to have a conversation with the group throughout the year. I know a lot of people like to do kind of a midway through the year check in with their groups. And, at that point, you would also be able to get the other report as well, which is called a HIA, which is going to tell you exactly where the group is spending their money. So, this is stuff that you're not going to get on a fully insured plan. And ultimately, AFA looks, feels, and functions like a fully insured plan. So in my opinion, there really wouldn't be a situation where you could look at a fully insured option that's priced equivalent and AFA and get less value out of your AFA plan. It's going to give you the reporting. You have the opportunity to earn your money back via the surplus. And then you also have access to the extensive amount of value adds that we offer. And we didn't cover everything on this call, but we have a ton of $0 services that we offer to groups. So we just present value in a lot of different ways. As Mark mentioned, standard commission is going to 40 ppm. You can request whatever you want, but if a group asks, we're at 40. The date of hire waiting period. So one of the big benefits of moving from Springboard to e-business is that e-business can accommodate a 0-day benefit waiting period, and Springboard wasn't able to do that. So on e-business, you have all your billing in one place. You have your ability to do a 0-day waiting period. You can do multiple waiting periods. You can do multiple waiting periods for different classes. You can break out bills by location. It really is just a total upgrade over what Springboard was. And I get asked about that 0-day waiting period all the time. So that's a really good upgrade on e-business. And then I'm going to skip this last bullet point here because, things have kind of shifted into a gray area. But, long story short, CVS has always been committed to eventually getting primary care in their MinuteClinics. So eventually that's going to happen. And we'll just keep you in the loop on what those changes look like. Right now, there's no immediate change happening, but, we may be shifting around the way copays work on the MinuteClinics. Right now, everything is a $0 copay if you're on a PPO plan. And if something changes there, we'll let you know. But, at some point here, we're going to have primary care doctors in every single MinuteClinic. So it's going to be a nice way for members to have, access to care and access to an actual PCP instead of going to see a nurse practitioner in those clinics right now. Last slide here, just to wrap things up and summarize everything. So huge small group change. We were always 2 to 100 eligible. Now we're 2 to 100 enrolled. Now, if you're in a situation where a group is enrolling and maybe they have 95 eligible, when you go through enrollment, maybe they get bumped up to 110 enrolled, that group is still going to stay in small group. So we do have some threshold there to swing above or below 100 enrolled. But this program here in particular is it's just a game changer. It allows us to capture a lot more groups, in general, in small group. And they can also take advantage of how streamlined small group is. So we've made all these changes to the quoting on the front end, which has streamlined everything dramatically and reduced turnaround time substantially. And then on the back end in small group, the installation process is fantastic. So everything is Adobe EchoSign docs. It's super, super easy. Really, the only legwork you need in installation is the final census, which if there's not many changes, it's very easy to put together anyway and, copy and paste over. So those groups that used to be pushed onto our large group platform are now in small group, and everything is just much more streamlined in small group, to be honest. So a really good change there. Mark mentioned this earlier, but INQ threshold is 5 enrolled. So anything over 5 enrolled, no matter the situation, can be quoted without medical apps. We also do not require renewals on groups under 51 eligible. So if a group's over 51 eligible, send the renewal over. If it's not, you don't need that to get a quote. So, I mean, my volume personally, and I'm sure Mark and Aaron are in the same boat for 1/1, is just dramatically higher than it was last year. And that's because a lot of people can get their quoting done sooner than in years past. So I would encourage you, if you're quoting anything under 51 eligible, you can get it quoted now and get a good jump on your 1/1. Maybe we can enjoy Christmas this year, which would be a nice change of pace. So You know, this is a good upgrade for, I think, the whole market, you know, working with Aetna. I mentioned some of the changes to e-business already. You know, some of the ways e-business has improved. E-business is a standalone platform, and I saw Michael ask that question. So e-business is a standalone in-house enrollment platform that we offer. So you wouldn't be able to integrate that with Navigator. You would either have one platform or the other. So if you're on Employee Navigator, everything is done through Employee Navigator. It's all through that third-party service. We don't have any internal system that's you know, supplementing that, so to speak. So you have your automatic feed with Navigator, and that's how that group is administrated moving forward. And then we can also do EDI feeds on groups over 51 enrolled. So if you need to get an EDI feed with a payroll vendor, for example, over 51 enrolled, we can set that up. If they're under 51 enrolled, talk to one of the reps. Sometimes we can get an exception to get an EDI feed set up. But it really just depends. And I haven't been in a situation yet where they would want to go under about 30 enrolled. So just keep that in mind for 1-1. Summarizing some of the changes to the wellness programs again. So OTC program, $35 per quarter, use it or lose it. You can get all your cold meds and everything else for the year with that program. And then the admin credits extending through March of next year. And just a reminder on the admin credits before I let you go, they're never built into the proposals. You always have to build these credits in yourself. And sorry, dogs. I got a couple puppies here, a little distracting. You build these into the rates yourself. So take that admin credit, build it into your spreadsheet, and yeah. Sorry, these dogs are screaming. But that's all I got. I mean, overall, you know, like I said, again, if you're looking at the MIWA products or other fully insured stuff against AFA, AFA does a lot of the things that the fully insured plans don't do into a group. It looks and feels the exact same. You're funding your maximum liability every month. You're essentially paying your fully insured equivalent premium. So, you know, I know some people want to get hung up on the level funded side of things, but it's really just what we're doing on the back end. And then the group has the additional benefits of the reporting and getting money back at the end of the year if they run well. So I don't think any new questions popped up, but I could be mistaken. Dental
Yep.
OTC program available in Kentucky. Mark, did you see anything about that?
We have not gotten confirmation on Kentucky yet. I can follow up with our dental and vision rep to see what Sarah says, though. Make a note of that.
And then we did have another question. It was ACA. Is that no longer available in Kentucky? I think it was answered that it's no longer available in Ohio.
It is not available in Kentucky as well.
Okay. And then I did just want to reiterate to everyone that the Aetna Sales Gateway, it is incredibly fast. I've personally sent over several quotes for 1-1. I'm getting them back probably 24, 48 hours. So great things from Aetna. You know, make sure you send it to the Cornerstone quoting box or send it to your account managers. We'll get it over there. We'll get it back to you fairly quick. As far as that goes, there are no other questions. They've all been answered. Everyone will get these slides afterwards. There's also going to be a recording as well for this. So thank you, everyone, and thank you, Aetna.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Thanks,
having us.
everybody.
Have a great rest of
Have a
your
good
week.
1-1. Take care.
Take care.